amazing. So amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. So amazing. So amazing. You cause the sun and moon.
Maxima.
Well, good evening. We're here with the Women of Destiny. We're here with our We're here this evening with our guests, Nelsena Day and Legislator Monica Martinez, along with my host, Dorina Boxdale.
Hi, welcome. Welcome back to Women of Destiny. We have an interesting topic tonight. There's been some issues that's been going on in our community, and it's in reference to toxic dumping. We brought Monica Martinez from the Legislator here, as well as Nelsena Day. We're really nervous this morning. It's
Yes.
Interesting. Nelsena Day from NYCC to discuss the issues that are going on in our community and how it's affecting us across the board. So as we begin to start this evening, we're going to give Nelsena Day an opportunity to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about NYCC.
I'm Nelsena Day. I'm a member of New York Communities for Change. Abbreviated, it's NYCC. We are a nonprofit organization, and we are based in the communities at large, and we do programs that are involved with community and activism. One of the things that we do is we do fair housing projects. We work with M. on foreclosures. We also do civic and social justice programs, and we also do education of the entire community. Right now, the thing that we are hitting the most is the problem that is going on in our communities of Central Islip, North Bayshore, and Brentwood, and that is the toxic dumping.
Monica Martinez, Legislator. She's new to our set. We're excited for her. We're going to give her an opportunity to speak. If you would just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Again, my name is Monica Martinez, and newly elected to the legislature here in Suffolk County, representing the 9th District, which is Brentwood, centralized up in North Bayshore, which is what Nelsena just mentioned. And yes, unfortunately, we are encountered with a couple of negativity and tragedy at this point, but in terms of toxic dumping. But I am an educator by profession. I have taught at the high school level in Brentwood. I taught social studies. And then in 2010, I became an assistant principal also in the Brentwood School District. And I graduated Brentwood High. I'm not going to tell you the date because that's just going to tell you how old I am. But I've been in the district for many, many years. And I've been working very close with Nelsena in trying to make sure that our parks are up to par with our community members and our children in the community.
All right, great. Maxima, if you could just translate a little bit in Spanish for us, for our Spanish viewers. We do have Spanish viewers out here.
Bueno, buenas noches. Estamos aquí con Mónica Martínez. Ella es
La legisladora.
You say it.
Legisladora.
Del condado de Suffolk, y Nelsena Day de New York Community for Change. Estamos aquí hablando esta noche del problema que tenemos con nuestros parques en nuestra comunidad de Brentwood, Bayshore y Central Islip. Es un problema que hemos estado hablando ya hace 2 o 3 meses, tratando de resolverlo, tratando de venir con un acuerdo, y queremos que podamos todos trabajar juntos para ver la mejor manera de arreglar este problema y que no pase otra vez en nuestras comunidades.
All right, great. So with that being said, we're going to give them an opportunity to tell us what they're going to do, what they've been doing within the last since May. Is that correct? That everything was revealed, Legislator?
Well, with me, it goes January.
Wow.
Yes, I've been working on this since January, where unfortunately I received a call from a constituent that we had children sledding down a hill during the winter months, and there was snow, and they sent me a picture of the debris that was located down that hill. I called the town back January 22nd, 23rd, and I informed them of the debris that was down this hill that our children were sledding down, And they first informed me that the debris was okay, that it was safe, until I sent them the pictures of what our children were sledding into.
Wow.
So I've been dealing with this since January.
Wow, so since January, and we don't even know how much longer prior before that, that the toxic dumping has been going on in these neighborhoods. Now this morning, while I was up and preparing myself for the day for graduation of my niece, I was watching the ABC, and they were also reporting new dumping in the Deer Park area, which we also just found out for Nelsena Day, that that area is still considered Bayshore area. It's just because it's closer to Deer Park, now they're mentioning it on ABC. This is my concern. We notice that it's being dumped in areas where it's mostly minorities. We don't want to make this a race thing, but we do want to address the issue. It is brought to our attention as well that the town of Islip, who was also invited here tonight to speak on their behalf, have not returned our calls, so we're going to throw that out there as well. What I want to say at this point is it's affecting our neighborhoods. We have two people who are very active in our community right now. They have come to some solutions, but we still feel at this point that there has not been truth that has come across the board. And so now I'm going to ask Nelsena to give us more in detail about what was found in the parks. And we're not just talking about, we're talking about Roberto Clemente Park, which is located in Brentwood. We're talking about the area over in Central Islip, which is
Clayton,
Sage and 111.
Sage and 111,
In Clayton also.
and also around the Clayton area.
and with the
Lower.
area over in Babylon, supposedly the base area in Babylon, which affects our veterans. You know, where there was some area over there which has to deal with our veterans, where the toxin was always placed also. So, Nelsena, tell us what has happened up to date in reference to the toxic spill. I know that there's been quite a few meetings that Legislator has also given for the community to inform them, but just give us a little bit more information, because I have some questions.
Okay, so far we have petitioned the town of Islip board members, who are our quote-unquote leaders through the local government. And we have given them 5 demands, and we've been giving them these 5 demands way before January of this year, because I've been involved with the park, Roberto Clemente Park, based on the swimming pool. That's how I got involved, and it was because they had closed our swimming pool down last year, so we didn't have any place for our kids to go for swimming. They tried the busing, it didn't work. It was horrendous with the kids. So I've been meeting, I met with the previous Commissioner of Parks and Recreations. I met with him almost 5 times to talk to him about what was really going on. What was the timeline that we were going to get the park open with the swimming pool and everything that was going on. I was told that as of June 29th of this year, the swimming pool and the park would be open. Then, when my last meeting with the previous commissioner, I said, it doesn't look like my park is going to be open, and I've got the community on my back, and I need some answers. And that's when it started coming out about the toxic dumping, and that then the DA got involved, closed the entire park down, and said no one is going to do anything until we get to the bottom of that. I went over to the DA's office when he was having a press conference, and I was rudely, in my opinion, asked to leave. That it was only for the press, that we could not be there. And I said, well, I'm here representing the community,
Right.
and I need to know. So I left. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I continue to go to Town of Islip board meetings, which is the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month. To give a follow-up, every time I've gone, I haven't gotten answers. We've had meetings in the Brentwood Library where they have come, but they still give us the same rhetoric. Well, this past Town of Islip board meeting, we decided to have a group of family and children and friends come out and have a beach party at the town of Islip Town Hall. So we all gathered there at 1 o'clock. We set up our volleyball nets. We played football. We set up our blankets. We had the kids in swimming trunks, and we were out there just, having a grand old time.
So what response did you get from the town in reference to that?
They didn't say anything.
Oh, so they didn't even come to the door. They didn't greet you. They didn't do any of that.
Well, you knew they could see from the top of the stairs.
Right. So
they knew what was
you
going
had
on.
mentioned something. You
They
said
didn't join
prior park commissioner that was in place. So the park commissioner that was in place is no longer with the town.
They said he resigned.
Well, that's very interesting. If they were here, they would be able to answer for themselves. So being that they are not here, we are going to say this. Town of Islip, there's some responsibility that is on you, and you should have represented yourself here tonight so that you will be able to speak for yourself. So now we have to go on an assumption. And when we look at the word assumption means an ass out of you and me. And apparently you have made an ass out of the Brentwood, Central Islip, and Bayshore area. Excuse me, I should not be using that language. Father, forgive me. But that's basically what has been going on. And because we are in an area where the minorities are being affected, they fail to realize that the water runs deep and it runs down into the other communities. It'll just be a matter of time before somebody is on your back even the more. There will be some responsibilities, and election time is about to come up. Do you not think that you are going to get voted back in? I have to tell you, we will be fighting against you in reference to that. You really should have showed your face tonight. Monica, Legislator, could you please tell us what you have done in the process of what is going on?
Well, I can only speak to what Nelsena has said too. She's been such a great advocate in this community, and I cannot thank you enough for everything that you have done, along with Make the Road New York. But as the legislators, we've been very difficult working with the town. I think that all levels of government need to work together, both federal, state, county, and town. We all represent, depending on where your jurisdiction is, but we all represent the same people. And it's unfortunate, you were just saying how the town is not here, and I've received phone calls from constituents and town workers. They're afraid to say anything because of any possible repercussion that might take place. I've had people call and tell me that that a town worker has also said in the presence of many of our community meetings that that the town doesn't help us because we don't even vote for them, because they are from the other party line. So why would a minority district vote for Republicans, and why should they even give us an ounce of treatment? I sat down with Councilman Sempt, and he even went on public radio and said that the town of Islip has indeed neglected, he used the word neglected, Brentwood, Central Islip, and the North Bayshore area. And he went on radio to say this in one of his talk shows that he had. I mean, so the fact that they are in agreement that they have neglected us, and then this happens, obviously it didn't matter to them what was going on in our neighborhood.
Well, it's really sad when you really think about it. It really shouldn't be. Once people are in place, regardless if you're Republican or if you're Democratic, you're supposed to be working for your community. And then we shouldn't even be looking at it from that perspective. And for him to be bold enough to go on the air and to make a comment on it like that, he should second guess what decisions that he's making. From what I understand, he's planning on either running for Senate or Congress. I hope that's not the case. But with that,
he's running for Senate.
He's running for the Senate.
He's definitely running.
And one of the demands that we made to him was that he needed to resign and take his name off the ballot, because nobody is going to vote for him. And I told him to his face that if God gives me the strength, I will walk this entire district and make sure he does not get elected.
Nelsena, what can you tell community leaders? What do you need them to do to make a change now, or to get things running, to get the park cleaned up as quickly as possible? What do you want from every leader out there in Brentwood, North Bayshore, and CI?
Government listen when there's a lot of people. When it's more than just one group or two groups. Government will sit and they'll listen to you when it's a multiple group of people, and it covers the entire area. So what we're trying to do is to gather all of the different organizations that are in the town of Islip, bring them together on a united front
Yes.
so that we can start demanding more, because as long as they just see people of color, the majority
That's
of
true.
people of color, and they don't see Caucasians or Russians or Asians or clergy people out there, they're going to take it as a joke. So, you know, that's what I would like to see, and that's what I'm going to fight for. I'm going to fight so that all of these groups will come together. And I think with Legislator Martinez by my side and me by her side, that we could bring these groups together under one roof and start doing something together.
That's great. With that being said, we're about to go to commercial. We'll come back in a few minutes.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Bienvenidas. Queremos hablarles otra vez a los televidentes hispanos. Queremos decirle que es tan importante que nos reunamos, que los líderes que están en Central Islip, en Bay Shore, en Brentwood, que se unan, porque unidos podemos hacer tantas cosas, podemos mover montañas. Tenemos que estar este es un asunto importante y nosotros somos los que tenemos que hacer la diferencia en nuestras comunidades. Ahora quiero pasarle a Mónica Martínez para que ella le hables un poco de lo que ella ha hecho y lo que podemos hacer juntos.
Gracias. Y me gusta que usted acaba de decir que tenemos que unirnos, porque el problema es que a veces uno de hispano a veces cree que no puede ser uno activo en la comunidad por el miedo de la residencia o documentaciones y cosas así de inmigración. Pero yo creo que ustedes sepan que aún que no, lo que tenemos que hacer es unirnos, porque este es un problema muy grande que ha pasado en nuestra comunidad. Y si el pueblo no sabe que nosotros estamos unidos, van a continuar en hacernos daño. Sí. Y yo creo que es muy importante que salgamos como una fuerza fuerte. Okay. Usted acaba de decir que podemos mover montañas, y eso es lo que vamos a hacer en esta comunidad de Central Islip, Brentwood y North Bayshore, porque la gente tiene que saber que nosotros también somos iguales, pagamos los impuestos de las casas, nosotros trabajamos duro todos los días, aunque a veces trabajamos hasta 2, 3 trabajos para sostener nuestra familia, y no es justo que alguien pudo venir a nuestra comunidad y botar basura aquí que nos va a afectar a nosotros de nuestra salud.
Contaminaciones, sí. Y también es importante que sepan que nosotros tenemos el poder del voto, que tal y como votamos para el pueblo de Islip, para elegirlos también lo podemos sacar. Tenemos un poder tan grande y tenemos que usar ese poder.
Y fíjese, lo que usted acaba de decir eso, mucha gente del pueblo, del town, ha dicho, ¿por qué yo le voy a ayudar a esa comunidad cuando ellos no votan por nosotros? Y esto es muy importante que usted acaba de decir, porque si nosotros le decimos a ellos, okay, bueno, no voten por ellos, pero voten para lo que sí van a hacer la diferencia, es importante que ustedes sepan que pueden salir a votar.
Exactamente.
Okay, so with that being said,
yes.
How will we get our community leaders to come forward and unite as one? That is one of the key issues that we have here. Though we have many organizations and they all break up. When we had the issue with the gang violence going back 2 years ago, we saw a community that became one.
That's
we
right.
saw clergy people, we saw business people, we saw youth. People of wisdom. I don't like to call them old people. I like to call them wisdom because they have a lot to teach us.
And people of every
and
color.
every color. It was a diverse group of
Yes.
people that came out, over 2,000
Yes.
that I had marched in that same park at that time was called Timberline, with shootings of gang violence. So we need to come back to that place. Our community needs to come back to that place. Not just the Brentwood Bay Shore and Central Islip area, but any community that is battling some issues. We need to learn how to unite as one. So what do we do, ladies? What do we do to try to come one? What do we do to get our community leaders to come together and become one voice instead of this breakage that we see that's going on?
So I've held 2 forums for the residents of Islip, and the last forum I invited Legislator Stern, who has part of Brentwood, North Brentwood, and I invited Legislator Lindsay, who though he has nothing in the Brentwood Central Islip, but it's also the town of Islip, and he represents Islip in the Sayville, Holbrook area.
Okay.
And he is concerned because he feels that who knows if his parks have been affected. Maybe not right now, but if the town has done this, what is it maybe that it hasn't happened in other parks,
right.
In Islip. And so the last forum, the one we spoke about, was forming a coalition. And a coalition which would include community members, which would include the clergy.
Right.
I would love to have some parents from the schools, someone from the Board of Ed from the school, even just a student, a coalition of 10 people, or, obviously keep it tight, where we all meet, once a month, and we communicate with each other on what's going on, and then come up with strategies on how to battle this issue that we're facing. And right now we have, and that last forum, so many people came up afterwards that want to be on this coalition, and we just drafted a sheet of the amount of people, and right now we're up to 9. And obviously NYCC and Make the Road New York are automatically in. They're part of the coalition, whether they like it or not. But you know.
There you go.
But it's a step. You know, we also want to create a hotline where people can call with certain concerns, because you know people are calling my office and saying what's going on, and you know, and it's so hard to explain, because yes, there is an investigation going on,
Right.
there is a criminal investigation, and also it's a town issue, unfortunately, where the county can't really step in.
Right. So they should be directing their questions to the town and
Yes.
basically not to the county.
Well, they have directed their questions to the town, but the town apparently chooses not to answer them. As of Friday, there is a new deputy commissioner of Parks and Recreation.
Inez Berglia.
Right. And she's pretty good. She has worked with certain people and Make the Road and Lysette. And I get along fabulously with her. I've met, not me, but NYCC has met with the new commissioner of Parks and Recreation, Tom Owens, and we showed him the demands, and he said he's never seen anything like that. And the thing that I also brought up to him is that this should not be at the cost of the parents that live in these communities. The parents didn't put this stuff
Yes.
in the park, so why should they have to pay for it? Why are you going to charge a parent $4 and tell the parent that you have to be there to babysit your child, and if she has 4 or 5 kids, that's $20 a day.
Wow.
They can't afford that, and that's what I can't get this through their heads. They cannot afford it, and the majority of them are working during the day.
And working 2 and 3 jobs.
And then they're only
also.
providing the service if coming, what is it, July 1st here?
Yeah.
It says children 13 years old and younger must be accompanied by a parent or an adult chaperone. Transportation will begin June 30th, which is Monday. Approximate pick time will be 9:45 to 11:15 and 12:45 p.m. Approximate return will be from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Most parents are working through the daytime.
Yes.
So that park that was available to us that is now closed, they can't even take them to. And then if they get bused to go someplace else, they're being charged a fee, even when they're paying taxes in their own neighborhood, because they can't utilize the park that was there, because they allowed a contractor, which from what I understand, was paid by the town of Islip. They were being paid by the town of Islip, this particular contractor, and was dumping in our neighborhoods. Come on, people. What's up with that? And now you want to charge us to go someplace else? And then when you're supposed to be taking us, everybody's working. So what about the weekends? Are we going to be accepted in those parks? This is what I'm concerned about. Our children are being taken advantage of. Our neighborhood has been taken advantage of. Something has to be done. So community leaders, I'm shouting out to you today. Something has to be
definitely.
done. There's a responsibility on us as a whole that we must reach out and become one so that we can make sure that our children are taken care of. So we don't know what the after effects are going to happen. According to the last meeting that we were at with you, they tried to tell us that the reports came back clean. The reports were this and the reports were that. We don't know if that's concrete. We have not even seen the reports. Legislator, have you seen the reports?
I have not.
Hello?
And we, as NYCC, has requested for those reports by the Freedom of Information Act, and we still have not received them. So therefore, it leaves us no choice but to gather as many attorneys and environmental organizations and go after the town of Islip and whoever else might be involved with this crime. Now, they're saying that they're victims. I like to know what they mean that they are victims, okay? You don't live in this town, number one. Number two, you didn't utilize our park. And number three, the other 120-some parks, many neighborhood parks that we have in the community, You never took care of those. And we're requesting that you do that.
Now, that's a good question. Because, you know, we were talking about this at the garden last weekend.
Yes.
Well, we were discussing that. We have all these parks in our neighborhood. They're underutilized. They're not being used. You know, there should be some things that should be added into those parks so that those people in those smaller communities can actually go to those parks and use them. Now, with this situation going on, why are we being shipped someplace else when we have
When we have
actual
so many
parks that
parks.
could be utilized in the community?
So if you don't mind, see, and this is why it's so frustrating, okay, because I've had these conversations with our councilman, okay. I sat with him, I sat with Councilman Semt, I sat with Deputy Supervisor Hofmeister, and I believe who could have been Councilman Semt's aide. I sat in their office over in Oakdale, okay, Acker's house, and I told them there are all these little pocket parks. Okay, why don't we do something with these pocket parks? And just to tell you, at this point, the RFPs, which is what they have to go through in order to get approved for certain programs through the county, yes, they fell short. Okay, I believe they quoted it at a certain amount of dollars, and it came more than what they had quoted.
Oh, they fell short.
Okay, so now at this point, they weren't even able to make sure that the pool would be open. At this point, we're still talking about the pool, okay? Because from the beginning of my term, every email I had with Councilman Semp was, when is the pool going to open? When is the pool going to open? When is the pool going to open? You promised by this summer it will be opened. So these are the conversations that I had with him. It'll be open. Now the whole toxic dumping took place. Now we had a month, okay? A month from the time that I spoke to him, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact date, but to the time that that they're going to begin construction of the pool. I said, well, now that you have a month and you think you're going to create, put together an entire pool in a month, okay. So if you have a month, why don't you take one of those pocket parks and do some sort of sprinkler,
Yeah, that's
like
what we need,
like a
sprinklers,
sprinkler.
yeah, to keep
Why-
the kids school.
Why can't you do something like that? Well, we don't have enough time. But you had enough time to convert an entire Olympic-sized pool to be ready and going by June 29th.
Somebody lying.
The timeline to me doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. I'm not an engineer whatsoever, but in a month, if you're telling me that you were able to put together a pool to be open within a month, you can't now put a sprinkler in a park?
But we got to go to commercial break. We're going to be back. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our 2 offices. Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I just wanted to pose to Maxima. We as community leaders, we've been very active in our community as well with Nelsena and Welcome Aboard Legislator. What should we do? What do you think that we should do?
As a community leader, I would say that we have to get together with the others. We have to get together. We became members of NYCC yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Correct.
And we urge others to become part of NYCC so we can work together in unity. With large numbers, we can definitely make a difference.
Right.
We did it with the march.
That's true.
We had much success. Out of that march came out so many grassroots organizations.
Yes.
Sure.
But then we separated. We're all doing our own things. Yes, for the same cause, but we're all in our little corners. We have to get back together for a common cause so things like this will not happen ever again. As our community, we have to take our community back.
Yes.
We have to stop sitting back, being dormant, and accepting everything that comes to us. You know, like we're not part of it. We have to take ownership of our community. With unity, with togetherness, with large numbers, we'll make a difference. So.
You know, I think, you know, because the 2 years that we did the Peace March,
Yes,
which was outstanding, and
definitely.
it brought a lot of people together. Some type of march like that needs to happen.
Yeah. Remember I mentioned it yesterday at the meeting.
At the meeting,
It's
we were
important for us
talking
to get
about that.
together again.
And it's been wrangling around in my head. So Monday, when I get back over by the office, I'm going to really work on seeing how we can get a march
Yes.
for this summer.
Now, do you think a march would still have the same type of effect? Only reason why I'm saying that is though the march was successful, but
Yes.
where do we go after the march?
Yes,
You understand what
exactly.
I'm saying? The march was very successful. It was phenomenal. The way God did that whole thing, people came together. It was a group of people. We can't put it on just one person.
No.
It was the committee of people. You had Shepherd's Gate, Sisters of St. Joseph, Maxima and myself, Anna Torres. There was a group of us, Nelsena,
BACC.
Ray, Lenny, you know, many of the churches. It was a group. It's not just one person that did it. And I think that that's very important, that people realize nobody can do anything by themselves, but that we
Exactly.
must unify. You know, and so we had a great success for the last 2 years, but then what happens? We got laxy-daisy. We became lethargic, and we went back to sleep. And so the enemy got back in, and the door was open for him to take over, and now he totally shut down that park
That's
so
right.
that our kids cannot have what they had in that season. I want to touch on Nehemiah, the first chapter. It talks about the breaking down of Jerusalem walls. It says that Nehemiah had went into the area and he saw that the walls of Jerusalem were broke down. And he began to weep and cry and pray and ask God to turn around and to make change. And he was working in the area where he was working with the king, going into the second chapter. And it says that he was downtrodden and he was upset. And with that being said, the king turned around and said to him, why are you so downtrodden? Why are you so upset? And he began to explain to him what had happened to the walls, what was going on in the place where he grew up. He saw that was broken down. And so the king freed him up so that he can go forth and rebuild the walls. Community, we need to rebuild our walls. We need to come together and get on our watch one more time. We need to stay in the place of position to be able to do what God has originally called us to do. For so some of those who have fell back, for some of those who are not in position, I'm calling you back to the forefront. I'm calling you back to a place of accountability and responsibility. That includes myself, because I also was a part of that march. I also was included in that. And I believe that God has opened up a door in this time and season for our voice not just to be heard out on the streets, but in the airways. And that's why Madhouse TV has sponsored us. We have come together and we've invited Legislator, we've invited NYCC, but now I'm inviting you. I'm asking you, come back to the place where you once dwelled. Come back to the place so you can shout on the wall. Come back and watch for your community, for your children. It is time for us to get back in proper position. And so, Maxima, with us saying that, and see, a lot of times we think that when we're doing something that we're just doing it because we're doing it. But there is an assignment that is on our life. And that means with that assignment becomes responsibility. We are crying out for youth. We are crying out for old people. We are crying out for a nation that needs to get back in order. We have gone so far to the left that there is no responsibility or accountability anymore. Yes, Town of Islip, we're holding you accountable. Yes, children in the neighborhood, we're holding you accountable. Parents, leaders, we are holding you responsible. And we are asking you, clergy, you can't stay behind the four walls of the church anymore. You must come out from behind the doors and you must begin to reach out to the neighborhood. It doesn't mean that you're not preaching the word of God, but now you're doing the word in action. It means that you're walking in love. It means that you're talking what you're just preaching. It means to come on, get in line, get on assignment, and do what it is that thus saith the Lord. I'm sorry I can't be but nobody but who God called me to be, and God called me to be a leader, and I must take responsibility, and everybody sitting on this table must take responsibility for what's going on in their community. This ain't a colored thing. This ain't a black and white thing. This is about getting into position. Legislator Monica, tell us your plan.
Thank you. Man, after that. No, you just spoke such words, and I thank you for that, because it is very important that we come together as a community. And as I had mentioned before, this coalition, okay, I started, in little baby steps. It's going to take time, but we need to work together. Like you said, we need to bring and build up our walls once again, because someone has come in and has destroyed what we called home. And they may call themselves their victims, but they're not victims. We are.
Right.
Okay. But we also can't stand back and say, "Oh, it happened. Now what?"
Exactly.
We need to take charge. We need to go to those town meetings. Call me. I'll give you my number at the end of the segment, so you can call the office with any concerns that you may have. But the coalition, the number, bringing on community leaders, because you know what? Those 2,000 people that came out to march 2 years ago, we need those people out again.
Right.
We need to come out in numbers. Our district is so big, we have the numbers. Yeah. We need to show that we have those numbers. We need to show that we are that number. And I'll tell you, right now, this beast of the 9th Legislative District and the 6th Assembly District is waking up. Oh, and we are a beast. And the town is not going to be happy when this beast wakes up. But the only way it's going to wake up if, like you said, we come together as one. Right. We cannot be fighting the same battle on different grounds.
Right.
We need to be all together on this.
Exactly.
All right. I just recently passed a legislation with Legislator Calarco that any business, any contractor that is found guilty of dumping toxins in anywhere in Suffolk County is barred from working in Suffolk County ever again. Okay. As of right now, Daytree Company does not have any contract with Suffolk County.
Oh, what was the name of the contractor?
Oh, yes, that was Daytree, D-A-T-R-E.
All right, day tree
Or
contractor. You
They
messed
say
up.
contractors. That's right.
That's what's been, noted in the last couple of DA reports and Newsday. But they have not conducted business with Suffolk County, and if they are found guilty, they will never work in Suffolk County ever again.
Wow.
And this goes with any other contractor that comes into Suffolk County and thinks that they can put toxins into our neighborhood, especially in our neighborhoods.
The other part of that is Daytree or Daughtry, whichever one they want to call themselves at the time, were subcontractors. We need to know who's the general contractor. Who's the main one who signed the contract with the town of Islip and who did all of the underhanded stuff and got all of these other subcontractors to do it. Daytree or Daughtry, they need to step up to the plate and say who they got the contract from so that their name will stop being so knocked on and we can go after the general contractor also. Now, I think, instead of them having any business to do in the town of Islip or Suffolk County, they need to go to jail.
Yes.
And on top of going to jail, they need to pay for all of this damage that they have done to this community.
It should not come out of our taxpayers' money.
It should not come out of the taxpayers' money.
Agreed.
And this $6 million bond that town of Islip saying that they got that's going to take only 6 months to clean up, please stop lying. We know it's going to take a heck of a lot more money. And you do not raise the taxes. Because if you do, you're in trouble. You're already in trouble, but I think that you will really get baptized by fire.
Well, Maxima, our time is winding up. This is a hot topic and a hot show.
We need a revolution.
We have another commercial that's coming up, and we just want to release that. And ladies, I thank you. Thank you so much for coming up and standing out. So here we go to the commercial.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful framed prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware.
We have 3 of the largest showrooms of safes on display and in stock. You can see and touch them in person instead of browsing a catalog. We carry gun and rifle safes, burglary safes, jewelry safes, fire rated from a half hour to 2 hour. Famous name brands.
We sell Gardol.
We sell AMSAC. The new AMSAC touchscreen.
If you're ever in need of a safe, think Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware. Right, Lockie?
That's right, Alan.
Bienvenidos. Otra vez quiero hablarle al público hispano. Quiero dejarles saber que no podemos permitir que ninguna compañía de construcción eche desechos tóxicos en ningún pueblo. Ahora está en el pueblo de nosotros, de Brentwood, North Bay Shore y Central Islip, pero también se ha encontrado en Deer Park los mismos productos y materiales y químicas que han echado en Brentwood. Hoy, en esta mañana, también en el periódico han dicho que se ha encontrado en Deer Park. Tenemos que otra vez unirnos, los pastores, los líderes de la comunidad hispana, tenemos que unirnos para que esto no pase otra vez en nuestras comunidades. Es importante, no importa si somos personas de color, blancas, hispanas, no nos podemos separar en este instante, tenemos que estar juntos porque nos afecta a todos. Todos hemos estado en el parque de Roberto Clemente. Nosotros tuvimos una marcha y ahí acabamos hace 2 años. Hemos jugado ahí, nuestros hijos, nuestros niños han usado la piscina que estaba allá, que ya está cerrada, pero todos hemos estado ahí en algún tiempo. Entonces nos afecta a todos. Si queremos que todos sepan la importancia de este problema, no podemos dejar que esto pase sin tener sin resolver el problema y que jamás podrá pasar en nuestras comunidades otra vez. ¿Qué usted piensa de esto? Decirle otra vez que tenemos que unirnos y que no podemos dejar que pase otra vez.
Yo estoy completamente de acuerdo con usted. Es muy importante que nuestra comunidad se acerque y no tiene nada que ver con color, no tiene nada que ver de dónde somos,
exactamente,
de cuál nacionalidad, de qué color somos, qué religión somos, porque ahorita es un momento que todos tenemos que reunirnos juntos.
Sí.
Y especialmente que esto pasa en nuestra comunidad, en parte pasó en nuestra comunidad porque ellos saben que nosotros no íbamos a hablar, que nosotros no íbamos a poner una pelea contra ellos, pero se equivocaron.
Exactamente.
Porque lo que hicieron es que despertaron a nuestra gente.
Sí, es verdad, ellos se equivocaron, tenemos voz, tenemos poder en unidad y queremos dejarles saber que hace 2 años nos unimos cuando tuvimos el problema de las drogas, de las gangas, nos unimos para cambiar las cosas y tenemos que unirnos otra vez. Estábamos todos juntos, como dijo Mónica, no importó nuestro color, estábamos toditos juntos para traer un cambio y eso es lo que esperamos ahora.
All right. So with that being said, Monica, you just gave the information about the time frame of the dumping between Deer Park and now. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, we discussed this during commercial.
Right. So if you could just give that time frame just a little bit, and then we're going to go over to Nelsena so she could tell us what she has in the works for the community.
Of course, at the beginning of the segment, we discussed when I called the town. I called the town January 22nd, 23rd. In today's paper, in Newsday, it quoted how between the dates of January 22nd to January 24th, the park ordered the debris to be taken out of Roberto Clemente Park, which is the same exact pictures that I sent, to be taken out of the park and removed. Okay, what was quoted in the paper by the town is that the town claimed that they did not know where the debris went. So now you have a town that ordered someone to take the debris out of a park but never questioned where it went. And now we find out that the same debris that was at Roberto Clemente Park is now over in Deer Park.
Interesting. So with that being said, we want to turn around and ask Nelsena, what can the community do?
Well, you know, there are several things the community can do. They want to call it Deer Park. Okay, it's fine. It's Deer Park. But guess what? We all drink the same water.
That's right.
Exactly.
So whether it's seeping down into the water, in which we know it is, you need to get involved, Deer Park. So at 1090 Suffolk Avenue, we have our petitions where you can come down and give us support. You can also come out and join the organization. And we're also doing petition door knocking, where we're going from house to house to house and getting everyone to sign so that the town of Islip will realize that we are one and that we are going to fight you and that we are taking our town back both politically, emotionally, spiritually, and it is called Town of Islip Communities.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I thank Nelsena for that information. If you have any more questions, please call the number that you see at the bottom of the screen. They will be able to get you in contact with Monica Martinez, Legislative's office. You will be able to contact her aide, which is Lisa Pinkard. You could be able to reach her as well. Anybody who knows Maxima and I, they know how to get in contact with us. We thank Madhouse TV tonight for all the work that they've done, allowing us to be able to speak truth in a dark situation. And so I speak to every leader, every community person, and I also stand in the gap for those who are not able to speak for themselves. We say thank you for listening to us tonight. We say thank you from Women of Destiny. We say thank you from the Legislator. We say thank you from NYCC. Maxima, is there anything that you have to say?
Just that we have to get involved. This is not only a Brentwood issue. Like Nelsena said, we all drink from the same water. We don't know what town this is going to affect next. Don't wait until it comes to your town. Help us to make a difference. Help us to make a change. Because when you need us, we can be there also.
That's right. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up and we say good night and God bless you.
And we'll be here the same time next
same
week.
Place.
Same
8
place.
o'clock to
8
9 p.m.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.